Krishna, Krishna. Ram, why is it a surprise? You have a twin brother who's going to play harmonium? No, I know what I'm doing. Well, I have a rough idea. Thank you, Ram. And you're going to start too high, and I'm going to say a little lower. But go ahead. No, you start. A little lower. There. Thank you, Ram. How long have you been in San Diego, Rama? End of 90s, 30 years. Thank you. Jai Radha Madhava Kunda Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunda Bihari Gopijana Balava Kirivanadari Gopijana Balava Kirivanadari Yasodanandana Brajanarandana Yasodanandana Brajanarandana Jamunti Ravanachari Jamunati Ravanachari Jeraram Marava Kunda Bihari Kopejana Balava Kirivanadari Jasodanandana Brajanarandana Jamunati Ravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunda Bihari Jamunati Ravanachari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunda Behari. Jai Vishnupad Paramahansa Piri Bhajakacharya Sate Shishaman's Divine Grace. Abhay Charan Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki. ISKCON BBT Founder Charya Jagaguru Srila Prabhupada Ki. Anantakota Vaishnava Vrinda Ki. Namchar Srila Haridas Thakur Ki. Prem Shikaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Go Gopinath Shamakunda Radhakunda Giri Govardhan Ki. Vrindavan Dham Ki. Mathura Dham Ki. Dwarka Dham Ki. Navadip Dham Ki. Jamuna Mai Ki. Ganga Mai Ki. Tulsi Maharani Ki. Bhakta Devi Ki. Sambhira Bhakta Vrinda Ki. Shri Krishna Sankirtana Jagat Ki. Gopremanandi. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Krishna Sadamo Bhagate Dhammaganadi Bisaha Kalanda Samta Shammesha Purano Konadotata Narayana Namaskritcha Naram Chaivam Narottama Devim Sarasatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayat. The Bhagavatam is as brilliant as the sun. It is arisen just after the departure of Lord Krishna to his own abode, accompanied with knowledge, religion, etc. Persons who have lost the vision through the dense darkness of the age of Kali shall get light out of this Purana. Did I say before beginning our study of the Srimad Bhagavatam, we should first offer respects to the personality of God Narayan, the Narayan Rishi, the supremest human being, the goddess of learning, Mother Saraswati, the author Srila Vyasadeva, and my spiritual master Srila Prabhupada. If you sit in front of the door, it makes it hard for people to come in. Or whatever. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we're in an interesting situation this morning's class. That from the verse here to 28 more verses, there's no purport, or maybe a one-line purport. So I was in a quandary what to do. And so what we're going to do is we're going to do the first 1 and 2, which are the first verses of the chapter. And it reminded me of something Harisari told me, a Prabhupada pastime. And Prabhupada, like Napoleon, had so many, he would have 3 secretaries working at the same time. Prabhupada would be getting his massage in the morning, and he'd be talking to some of his local leaders. He'd be having his letters read to him. He'd be preaching to life members, all simultaneously. We're off the track, but Harisari told me that, you know, Prabhupada's got these 3 or 4 concentrations going on. Harisari's behind him, and Prabhupada said, mustard seed on the body, sandalwood on the head. So a very nice life member given Prabhupada a bottle of expensive sandalwood oil, Mysore sandal. So Prabhupada's got all this stuff going on in front of him. Harisari's getting in behind him, getting ready to massage him, his head. So Harisari's behind him opening sandalwood oil, and he set it on the mat. He was actually trying to listen to Prabhupada, which Prabhupada liked. And but he put it on the edge of the floor and the mat, and it was tipped. It was about to spill completely. Prabhupada behind him grabbed it, put it solidly on the floor, and said, "You rascal." So, you know, Prabhupada was like aware of all the stuff that was going on. So in one of those situations like that, they were reading Prabhupada's letters, and the library party would sometimes get professors to write reviews, and they would send them in, and they would print them in the BBT newsletter. Prabhupada would carry them with him. He'd put them on the book jacket, so many things. So I forget who the professor was, but he was some big guy, so-called big. And he said, the books by Bhaktivedanta Swami from the BBT press, they're beautifully made up, you know, with covers and quality printing and so many things. And the author is obviously a deep scholar. The only thing is, he stresses too much on bhakti. And Prabhupada slammed his hand on the floor, slapped his, and said, he said, that is my point. I've written these books in such a way that they cannot squeeze any other meaning out of them. So if you'll notice, sometimes as someone who knows Krishna's heart, Prabhupada said, your ancestors may be monkeys. He said, but my ancestors are the great Vedic sages of India. So as someone who knows the heart of Veda Vyas and knows the heart of the Vedas, Vedanta Krit Veda Vit, someone who knows the heart of Krishna, Prabhupada knew the essence of the verses. So sometimes Prabhupada, you can't line up exactly the word for word with the translation. It looks like Prabhupada's put an extra word in there, you know. But knowing the heart of Veda Vyas, and knowing the genuine intent of Krishna, I don't know if this is probably not a word, but Prabhupada would purportize the translations. Huh? We know what I mean. So therefore, I feel that I'm bona fide just reading the verse, because it's 28 verses till there's a purport. And if I read 28 verses, you'll all fall asleep. Except Suresh. Shri Rajavacha Bale Pada Trayam Bhume Kasmad Darir Ayachata Bhuteshwara Kripana Bal Shri Rajavacha Bale Pada Trayam Bhume Kasma Darirayachata Bhuteshwara Kripanabal Labdartopi Papabandatam. Yeah, that's right. Shri Rajavacha Bale Padatrayam Bhume Kasmadarirayachata Bhuteshwara Kripanabal Labdartopi Babandatam. Shri Rajavacha Bale Padatrayam Bhume Kasmadarirayachata Bhuteshwara Kripanabal Ladartopi Babandana Bandatam. Shri Rajavacha Bale Padatrayam Bhume Kasmandarayachat Bhutesha Kripanabal Labdatopi Babandana Shri Rajavacha Bale Padatrayam Bhume Kasmadarirayachata Bhuteshana Kripanabal Ladartopi Babandatam. One other brave soul. Shri Rajavacha Bale Padatrayam Bhume Kasmadarirayachata Bhuteshwara Kripanabal Labdartopi Babandatam. Shri Rajavacha. The king said, Bale of Bali Maharaj, Padatrayam, 3 steps, Bhume, of land, Kasmat, why? Harir, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in the form of Vamanadev. These are way too open. If you could shut both of these, just shut them both. Yeah, because we've got that. Both doors, not that. Leave that as it is. Yeah, just a little fresh air. This is. Sorry, thanks. Now, where'd we leave off? Ayachata begged Bhuta Ishvara. Am I right? Have I gone too far? So far, I'm right. The proprietor of all the universe, Kripanavat, where's that? Like a poor man, Labda Artha. He got the gift. Api Babanda. Arrested. Tam. Him. Bali. Okay. Now we're going to skip on to the translation. Maharaj Parikshit inquired, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the proprietor of everything. Why did he beg 3 pieces of land from Bali Maharaj like a poor man? And when he got the gift for which he begged, why did he nonetheless arrest Bali Maharaj? I'm very anxious to know the mystery of these contradictions. Also, you say, Maharaj Parikshit inquired. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the proprietor of everything. Why did he beg 3 pieces of land from Bali Maharaj? Like a poor man. And when he got the gift for which he had begged, why did he nonetheless arrest Bali Maharaj? I'm very anxious to know the mystery of these contradictions. Om Gana Tamarandasya Gana Gana Salakaya Chakshusham Militan Gena Tasmare Shri Gurave Namaha. By the way, I won't be here tomorrow morning for the morning program. We have a GBC call, and it starts at 5 o'clock in the evening, Indian time. Because you've got to get New Zealand, and you got to get all the way to California, because you've got devotees sprinkled, ministers and GBC sprinkled all over the place. So that makes 4:30 a.m. Mangal. That's where I'll be. So we're starting this chapter. We had the previous chapter was more like you set the stage. You get everything laid out, the curtain opens, and then the actors come on. So there's so much history. And we were talking about this last Sunday. So we've heard about all the different manus, and now the stage is set. And what's happening is Bali Maharaj and Vamanadev, the actual actors, are appearing on the stage in the pages of Bhagavatam. Because in the ultimate issue, what's the point of the whole thing? You know so much history. Is it going to make any difference in your life? But Bhagavatam, it's just the highlights. Bhagavatam is talking about the incarnations, the appearances of the Supreme Lord, the great devotees. Sometimes there's criticism. It is chronological, but that's a whole other story. But it doesn't dwell so much with all the details, because it gets to the essence. So now this chapter, Vamana appears, Bali Maharaj. So why, as Bhagavatam only deals with the essences, then I can ask you, this is a big hint, and it's not for Dravida Prabhu and Maharaj. What is the reason, according to Bhagavad Gita? I could make it really easy. In the 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, why does Krishna appear? For extra points, anyone know the Sanskrit? Oh, come on. Who said that? Prithanaya sadhanam vinasaya chaduskritam dharma samstapanartaya sambhavami yuge yuge. To annihilate the demons, to save the devotees, to reestablish religion, Krishna appears. I was sitting in a class, Prabhupada asked the same question, the devotees gave the same answer, and Prabhupada said, actually, that's not true. What? It's in Bhagavad Gita. Prabhupada didn't say it's not true. Prabhupada said, well, here's what Prabhupada said. Prabhupada said that for the annihilation of the demons, Krishna can send some earthquake, some war, some forest fire, tidal wave. I mean, that's no issue. And for the devotees, they have firm faith. They're surrendered to Krishna. So what is the actual reason Krishna appears? Prabhupada said, just to give the devotees something to talk about. The wonderful past. So here we have Maj Pricket. It's mysterious. And shouldn't it be? Should Krishna be prosaic? Should little Swami, Badrinarayan Swami, is a young boy in, I think it's 6th grade or 4th grade. Should I be able to make a model of the universe out of colored styrofoam balls? You know, you ever do that when you're a kid, you know, in science class, you know? You make a little mobile or whatever it's called, and you make colored, you know, and they're, you know, proportionate size, and they all rotate around the sun. Should I be able to understand the mysterious creation of the mystical Supreme Lord? No. Well, I don't understand. Should that be an argument? Or as Prabhupada used to say when people would repeatedly say, well, as far as I can see, well, as far as I can see. What was Prabhupada's famous retort when someone kept saying, as far as I can see? Prabhupada said, that's my point. How far can you see? We don't even know what's happening on the other side of this wall. Where are, you know. I was just thinking about a tape and a lecture I was listening to this morning, and Prabhupada was talking about the ant and his perspective, and Prabhupada's calling him Mr. Ant. Mr. You know. So what are we? So it should be mysterious, and therefore we go to the right source, descending knowledge. One who is, what is it? Tadvidi panipatena. What's the last line? Darshana. Tattva darshana. One who's seen the truth. One who's seen the truth in parampara from the Vedic literature, according to Guru, Shastra, and Sadhu, who's a realized person. That's who you listen to. So here we have Maj Pricket. He's inquiring from Shukadev Goswami, and he's going to get the secret to understanding the mysterious pastimes of the mystical Lord. So that's where we're going here. Now, I wanted to talk about the Krishna's, the theme is Krishna's contradictions. Krishna's very contradictory, and we're trying to squeeze it. You want something contradictory, how about Achinta Beta Beta Tattva? Simultaneously one and different. Huh? How does that work? You know? So this is Krishna. One of Krishna's names is the Lord. Something going on in that corner. People keep looking. Anyway, one of Krishna's names is the Lord of Contradictions. So I thought we'd have some fun today, in the small amount of time left, and talk about some of these contradictions. Because as asked by Parikshit Maharaj, the initial or the foundational contradiction for this verse, he asks, Krishna is the Lord of everything. We know that. Ishvara Parama Krishna, Ishavashidam Sarvam, Aham Savasha Prabhaho. We know that Krishna is the source of everything, the controller of everything, the owner of everything. What? Oh, I don't want to make it too easy. How does Krishna manifest his control of all things? Mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. Oh, come on. Huh? Okay, that's all right. I can understand there's perplexity. It starts with a T. In Bhagavad Gita, time I am, the destroyer of all things. So what are we what? Prabhupada gives example. Suppose you walk into Bank of America and say, Bank of America is mine. Oh, they can say, okay, sir, would you like to make a withdrawal? You're insignificant. And when they point that out to you, do you have an account here? And you don't have all of Bank of America. So you say, okay, I renounce it, like these bogus yogis, or I renounce it. Prabhupada, what's the question Prabhupada asks when someone says, oh, I renounce it? Well, yeah, exactly. When was it ever yours? It's you're renouncing it, but when did you ever have it? So the fact of the matter is Krishna, by the influence of time, we are simply the tenant. We don't even own this body. We're the tenant, and the owner is Krishna. Kshetra, Kshetragya. So, Parikshit Maharaj is asking, well, Krishna's the controller of everything, so why is he begging? Doesn't it appear to be a contradiction? Why does he have to beg? Anyone know why he begged? Well, let's see if somebody... I don't want to purport. It is to bring out the glory of his devotee. We're going to talk about that a little bit more. Because Bali Maharaj was put in a real jam. So it's a contradiction. Why does the Lord appear to do these things? To bring out the glories of his devotees. To teach us by how the great... You teach the daughter-in-law by teaching the daughter. So, that's one contradiction. Now, here's another contradiction for Krishna. He's the largest, he's the greatest, he's the biggest. What is the opposite of large, big? Small. Don't overthink it, Prabhus. So, what is a manifestation of Krishna as the largest? Don't overthink it. He's the universal form. I hadn't thought of it. I was thinking of Mahavishnu, Karnadakshai Vishnu. Everything is emanating from him, all the universes. And what's the smallest? He's the super soul, and he's inside every atom. So he's the largest, and he's the smallest. Prabhupada said, I was listening to a tape this morning, And Prabhupada said that Krishna comes in a nice size, just so you can handle him. And what he means is, you know, Mahavishnu, and then here's Giridhari standing on the altar, also as Guntai, Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra. We can dress them. You said the universal form. Prabhupada said if we're trying to do worship of the universal form, where will you hang the garland? You know, but Krishna comes in a nice shape. We can cook for him. In the pujaris in the evening, take a nice Q-tip or tulsi twig and clean the sandalwood out from the Krishna's toes, and you know. So he's Mahavishnu, he's the universal form, and yet the contradiction, he also comes as a little, you know, the small deities. We have our little Chota Radha Giridhari. So he's the greatest of the greatest and smallest of the smallest. And it's a contradiction. What's another contradiction? And I'll ask it this way. I have a father. My father had a father. My father's father had a father. So there must be a first father, right? Adipurusha. Now, you know, my grandson, he's fresh, bouncing around, full head of hair. Mother has to get a haircut all the time. Now you've got my son. He's got a little, he won't mind me saying, he's got a little bald spot coming. You know, he's starting to lose a little hair. Me, I got a gray Sika, you know. So the older they get, the grayer they get until they go bald. So how do the Christians, because he's the first father, he's the oldest, how do they picture him? Oh, he's an old man, and he's not in a good mood. Just between you and me, he's always smiting and smoting, and what is the past tense? Smitten, you know? I mean, he's always throwing thunderbolts and turning people into pillars of salt. Jeez. Huh? For I am a vengeful and wrathful God. I wouldn't want to meet him in a dark night. So, but Krishna, what is it? What is the contradiction? God is an old man and wrinkled. Who can quote for extra points? What does Krishna say? Where does Krishna himself point out this contradiction? Other than, I know Dravid is holding back, and Maharaj is holding back, and Balaram's holding back. What is it? Advaita Chuta Anadim Ananta Rupam Andya Purana Purusham. What is the next line? Navayovanam. He's an old man, and yet he's a fresh youth. That's a contradiction. But it's perfectly balanced in Krishna. If he's the source of all life, why is he a wrinkled up, drained old man? If he's the source of all beauty, shouldn't he be most beautiful? It's completely consistent and logical, and yet it's a contradiction. All opposites are resolved in the absolute. Let's do a few more and then we'll end up. Now, Lord Brahma, after stealing the cowherd boy, you know the pastime, Brahma Mohana Leela. After he's got his mind completely blown, 4 minds, I guess you could say, on one hand, completely blown. what does he finally appears before Krishna. And he may say, other people may say they know you. Now this is the Adi Purusha. This is Lord Brahma, the Adi Kavi. And he's saying, hey, others can say they know. I don't have any idea. My mind has just been blown. And he points out that you are the source of all the Vedas. Brahma may sing the Vedas, but Tene Brahma Hridaya Adikave, from within the heart, Krishna's the one who bestowed the Vedas on Brahma, and then he disseminated them. So you're the source of all the Vedas, and yet here you are standing in front of me as a small boy. You're a village boy. You're a cowherd boy. And Brahma says, you don't even appear to have sufficient education. He's a cowherd boy. And he responds, Brahma, what are you saying? He plays with Brahma's mind, You're saying all these things, but he tests him and he pushes Brahma to say more about how Krishna is actually the source of all knowledge. Sarvashachaham Hridi Sanivisto, Matasmiti Gyanam Apohanam Cha. So that's a contradiction. He appears as a small cowherd boy living in a village, Vrindavan, and yet he's the source of all the Vedas. So it's the mystic, it's meant to invoke a sense of awe and reverence and love and appreciation for Krishna. I'm not going to, what does Rukmini say? That don't give she's describing a mundane husband as a bag full of bones and stool and this and that. Oh, Rukmini, decorated with a mustache. Well, why give your love to that of some woman who's, beautiful for a few minutes only? And even what is that beauty? It's all artificial. See them in the morning when they first wake up, buddy. Smell them in the morning before they take their bath. I'm sorry to be blunt, but look it up. We've got, before you can put two of these bodies next to each other, the average man, and I'm not making a comparative judgment which is better or worse, this is just the way on average it works. The average American has to go through the man has to go through 8 different steps before he can present his body to someone else. You got to brush the teeth, you got to take a shower, you got to shave, And the average woman, I think it's 12 steps before you can even sit next to each other on the subway. And that's what you're going to give your love to? But here, give your love to Krishna. So we'll do a few more and then we'll finish up. Lord Nrsingadev. Krishna's sweet and, but Lord Nrsingadev, what is it? Klim Sham Om Ugravidam Mahavishnu Jalantam Sarvato Mukam Nrshingam Bhishanam Badram Mitu Namamiham. Although he's a great, he's Ugra, Nrsinga, fearful, terrifying Nrsinga. At the same time, he's Bhadra. He's all auspicious. What is the example that Prabhupada gives? Of course, he gives several, so that gives you several options to show Krishna both terrifying and loving as Lord Nrsinga, other than Dravida, Maharaj, and Balaram. Who knows? What's the example? Found at the San Diego Zoo.
Like a mother lion.
Like a mother lion. And what? Take it a step further. What's the example? Defend your answer.
She uses the same fangs to pick up her cub as she does to hunt prey.
Yeah, to hunt you. You're a little snack item. Actually, she wouldn't really like the devotees. We're too bony, most devotees, you know. There. So, the same teeth, the same terrifying personality. Every devotee in this room has had a close call when they called out to love, in love and shelter to Lord Nrsingadev. So all the devotees, it's not that we have, one incarnation is better than another. I'm not getting into all that. Save me the emails. But the point I'm trying to make is that fearsome, terrifying, ferocious Lord Nrsingadev, we all have that in our heart, that mood of Prahlad, that, oh Lord Nrsingadev, like the mother protects the cubs, please protect us. So that's an example of a contradiction. He's fear personified for the materialists, but for the devotee, we feel that the roaring of Lord Nrsingadev is, oh, my Lord is coming. And I guess we'll end here because we're a little over time. We'll do a few, maybe one or two more. The Krishna is called Ajita. What does Ajita mean? You already got. We got anybody? Yes, Prabhu.
Always victorious.
Huh?
Always victorious.
Okay, that's one of the names. Oh, I'm sorry. Ajita means he can't be conquered. It can mean that also. It's the opposite side. Krishna can't be conquered. And there's so many examples. Who was it that is Balaram killed with his kusha grass blade, weapon, Yeah, Ramaharsha. And who did he just, as Varaha, I think in the end, he finished Hiranyaksha. Yeah, with just a tap in the side of the head. Finished. So nobody can conquer Krishna. And yet, does anyone want to weigh in other than Balaram Maharaj and Dravida? He's conquered by the inhabitants of Vrindavan. Completely conquered. This is the Vrindavan mood. Prabhupada says, if he loses, how can Krishna lose? But in a cowherd boy game, sometimes he loses, and he has to carry the other person on his shoulders. Prabhupada says that Mother Yasoda's calling Krishna in the evening, come home, it's time to come home. Nanda Maharaj is getting ready to take his meal, and he won't eat without you. Come home, take your bath. And his cowherd boys say, you go home, we're not going to let you play with us tomorrow. I remember I was the one who had the baseball bat. So when my mom called, I had to go home when the street lights went on. So if I went home, I took my baseball bat, it broke up the game. So you can't, kids, they're playing. You can't go home now. You take the ball home, breaks up the game. You can't go home. So the same ras, enhanced unlimited times. The coward, Mother Yasoda's calling Krishna. You got to come home. Nanda Maharaj won't eat without you. And the coward boys say, you go home tomorrow. You're breaking up the game. You go home now. We won't let you play with us tomorrow. You're breaking up the game. And Prabhupada says, and Krishna's perplexed. Does he listen to his coward boy friends? Does he listen to Mother Yasoda? There's a famous picture. Of Krishna And he's in a bower in Vrindavan. There's Radharani, Lalita, Vishaka, and Cupid in the bushes. And Prabhupada gave the purport in LA. I was standing there, and Prabhupada gave the purport. And Radharani's looking like this. And Krishna's put at her feet his crown, his jewels, even his flute. And Prabhupada said, what's actually happening here is Radharani is looking at Vishaka, and she's saying, should I forgive him or should I hold out a little bit longer? It's you know, what is it called? Man bhav? You know, anger. So Radharani's in an angry mood. And Krishna's trying to win her back, and he's even put his flute at her feet, you know? And she's just toying with him. And Prabhupada pointed out, which I had never noticed until that point, that in the bushes is Cupid, you know, the traditional Cupid. And he snapped his bow and arrows because his, you know, all of his affairs that Cupid arranges, Cupid's arrows, you know, they are nothing. He can't understand the pastimes. Krishna's flowered arrow, you know, we say in Gayatri, the flower arrows, which assault the five senses. We don't have a clue what those. So Krishna's completely conquered, even though he's Ajita. So we can in there. The other one I was going to say, and I might as well say it because I started, is it's the same contradiction. The universe, to the perceptive, non-devotional jnanis, to the astrophysics, to the, what are they called? The existential philosophers. This universe is cold, it is sterile, it is dry, it is going on by random chance. We may call out in prayers, but the universe is silent. There is no God. There's no big man in the sky who's going to catch me if I'm running off a cliff. It is a cold, sterile, impersonal, dead universe going on by random and chance. And you might as well face up to it. Otherwise, keep believing in Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny. It's cold, man. You know? But we're men. We've faced up to the truth. Well, that's a pretty cold picture. Prabhupada said, you think you're sitting on the floor? I'm sitting in the hand of Krishna. Prahlad Maharaj, where is your God? Is he in this pillar? Prahlad confidentially says, definitely, you know. He's inside every atom. So the devotees, for us, Prabhupada gave Bhavananda, it's actually Bhavananda is his name. He told me this. And Bhavananda's one of the colorful characters of and did a lot and designed the TOVP, amongst many other things. So he said, Prabhupada gave him the name Bhavananda. And it comes from Bhava, not Bhava, but Bhava, to one who enjoys this material nature. And when he made Bhavananda, along with Jayapataka Maharaj, one of the co-directors of Mayapur, Prabhupada said, I have given you the kingdom of God, take it and enjoy. And, you know, Bhavananda developed Mayapur. He was, you know, the flowers, the buildings, the color scheme, so many things, you know. It was, so take the, how would, you know, gave you something material, but Krishna's given us this world to engage in his service. Devotees see a nice flower. Dravida Prabhu sees nice mangoes, tree-ripened mangoes, not these green rocks they try to palm off on you as a mango, but those mangoes are succulent. And what does he think? I'm buying a case home and stuff my face. He's thinking, wow, for Krishna. So for the karmis, the material world is cold, brutal. Who's my friend? Hobbes. What does he say? Nasty, brutish, and short. That's his description of life. Nasty, brutish, and he's right. If you have that vision, it's a contradiction. But for the devotee, we live or we die. I go back to Godhead. It doesn't. If I have association of devotees and I can serve, I'm happy anywhere. So weekend in there, it's a little meditation on Krishna, the Lord of contradictions. Okay, thank you very much, Prabhus. All glories to Prabhupada. Because it's time. It's, where I'm up against breakfast.